Do you ever hear an IELTS speaking question, understand it perfectly, and respond with, "Yes, I do. I live in an apartment"? All these answers might be correct, but they don't give you enough opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge in English and to develop your answers. In this video, I'll be teaching you 3 different formulas that you could use to respond to part 1 questions in a way that it works, it brings about scores, and it helps you respond properly. Before getting started with the formulas, I would like you to remember that you shall not memorize any scripts. Your answers should be natural, they should be about you, and they should come across naturally, all right? So, part 1 is a short conversation about familiar topics. It will take around 4 to 5 minutes. Today, we'll be dealing with 3 different topics: home, work or studies, and interests. We're gonna prepare flexible ideas. We're gonna talk about how not to memorize speeches and things like that. I have already prepared a video that is talking about the whole speaking test. It talks about part 1, part 2, and part 3 all together, how long they would take, what you should be expecting, and what type of questions they would ask you. If you have not watched that video first, I highly recommend to stop right here, go watch that video, and then come back here to prepare for your part 1 speaking tests. So what I would like you to know is that a strong answer is developed, but it is still concise. For instance, if they ask you a question such as, "Do you work or are you a student?" you just do not respond with, "I'm a student." It is concise, that's for sure, but it is too short. You can start with this sentence, but you need to develop this with 1, 2, or even 3 supporting sentences. You need to provide reasons, details, contrast, explanation, not all of them together, but some of them for your responses. You need to answer naturally and clearly and directly. It is very important not to beat about the bush, answer the questions, but still provide supporting details. The first formula that I would like us to talk about today is ARD. It works for most of the part 1 questions. You need to build your answer in 3 simple moves. The first thing is that you answer the question. You start directly like, "I am student." And then you provide a reason, you explain your reason, and then you provide a detail, make it personal. It's between 2 to 3 sentences, and it helps you a lot in developing your part 1 answers, as your answers in this part should be around 15 to 20 seconds, so it's not even that long. For instance, the question is, "Do you work or are you a student?" Your direct answer is, "I'm currently a master's student. The reason is, I chose this program because I'm interested in education and communication." And your detail is, "I'm finishing my degree and exploring how to use my teaching experience in a new career." So that's how you would build a natural answer using this formula. Moving on to the second formula, we have the PPF technique. You usually use it for changes, for duration, for development over time, for your plans, things like that. And it is particularly useful because it allows you to show the examiner that you're comfortable with tenses, and it allows you to use 3 different tenses within one part 1 answer, which is amazing, and it gives your grammar resource a little bit of variety. So it is like you start with the past, you say something about the past, you connect it to the present, and then you connect it to the future. You have some examples here, like you can use simple past, you can use used to, a past habit, and then you can use now, these days, and for the future, of course, you can use will, would like, things like that. It's not a compulsory rule to start with the past tense. For instance, if the question is asking about the past, the perfect strategy is to start with the past and then move on to the present and then to the future. If it's about the present, you can start with the present and then you can say, for example, in contrast, this is how I would do the same thing differently in the past. And then if you have any future plans, you would add that. So There is no particular order, and you do not have to use all three of them. You can just talk about the past and the present, you can just talk about the present and the future, or the past and the future. So based on the answer that you have in mind, you can add some flexibility to this, let's say, part. PPF can rescue you across different topics because it can work anywhere, anytime. For example, if you're talking about studies, you can start with the fact that you were not interested with what you studied before. Now you have new interests. You want to learn new skills, and then you have plans to work in some other areas. About home, for example, you could start with the fact that you used to live with your family. Now you have a small apartment. In the future, you would like to have a bigger apartment, or you would like to build a brighter home office for yourself, things like that. If you're talking about hobbies, for example, you could start with the fact that in the past you um, used to read for university only, study materials. Now you're reading about learning, and then in the future you would like to build daily habits in reading. Moving on to formula number 3, choose first and then explain why. This is called the CR technique. You can use it for preferences, for favorites, and alternatives. You choose what they would like you to choose, and then you provide a reason for that. This is very straightforward. And in order to use this strategy, you need to listen for starters such as do you prefer, would you rather, what is your favorite. You can also add a brief contrast with but, although, and however. It makes your sentences grammatically more complex and your answers deeper. One word of advice, you need to prepare for ideas, but you shall not memorize anything. So it's important to know the difference between the two. For example, home is one of the most recurring topics in IELTS Speaking Part 1. And if you want to respond to those types of questions properly, you need to prepare yourself. You need to give yourself a sort of vocabulary bank that you are allowed to use. You need to know how to describe your accommodation, how long you have lived there, what you like about it, and what you would change about it, your ideal future home, and these type of things. If you're talking about your hometown or your city, it's important to remember to talk about the location, the atmosphere, interesting places, changes over time, advantages and disadvantages of the place that you're living in, and your future there. So be careful, think about these types of details, think about how to say them, think about how to improve the way you say them, learn vocabulary, learn structures, learn expressions, but do not memorize things. That's the most important thing. Natural and specific answers beat complicated and memorized ones. For example, take a look at the sample answer here, which is a memorized one, obviously. I reside in a magnificent metropolitan area which provides a plethora of recreational facilities. This is, let's say, very unreal, very unnatural for part 1. Of course, it has great vocabulary items, but then saying this creates too much pressure, and that's why you lose fluency when you're responding. A more natural answer would be I live in Rome. I love its atmosphere, although the traffic can be a little bit exhausting at times. So try to use accurate words other than impressive ones, because sometimes they do not fit the context. Sometimes they come across as unnatural. I mean, if they fit, if you know how to use them naturally, that's perfect. If not, just try to use the words that come to your mind. Try to learn simple words that would still do the work. And then you will see how natural your answers would look. So something that I would like you to do after you finish this video is that I would like you to take a look at these 3 sample questions and try to use these formulas in order to answer. Record yourself, listen to yourself again, then think of how you would give better responses to each one of the questions. Do you work or are you a student? Try to use ARD. Has your hometown changed over the years? Try to use the PPF. And would you prefer a house or an apartment? Try to use the CR. To have a quick review, ARD stands for answer, reason, detailed. It works for most questions. The PPF stands for past, present, and the future if you're going to talk about time and changes. And the CR stands for choice and reason if you're talking about preferences and favorites. Use these formulas to organize your answers. Do not memorize anything. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was useful to you. Do not forget to write to me in the comment section and tell me which one of these formulas do you feel most comfortable with. And do not forget to subscribe to this channel because I'll be posting more about IELTS speaking. I'll be giving you a lot of ideas, samples, and everything else that I'm sure will be useful for you in your IELTS preparation journey. Have a good day.